Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. We could do this a little bit more energy. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Team Liquid's #1 fan, Jake.
This is confirming Jake's Team Liquid #1. Oh, fuck it. I'm Fleric.
This is Mac, just enjoying everything at this
Oh
point.
my god. How
For
am I
those of
not
you-
like in the worst shape out of all of us?
I don't know.
For those of you who are free of the curse of League of Legends upon your life, the team that Ryan has been rooting for years traded for a bunch of my favorite players, so now it's my team.
Yes, and also
I've always been Team Liquid, of course.
Oh,
I've
of
always
course,
been at war with East Asia.
Every day.
you will always be a TSM fan in my mind, therefore absolute garbage.
Look at this old school Team Liquid.
Oh
shirt I got right here.
yeah,
Yeah, I gave that to
that
him.
is old school. I like
Yeah.
it.
This is a sumo podcast. Stop it.
Not for long.
This is the Hatsu Midway recap. There will be spoilers through day 8. Just quick heads up. I'm sick once again because that's just what I do. So I'm going to fight through this as best as I can and try to bring the regular amount of energy. But if I start trailing off in about 20 to 30 minutes, just understand.
We'll go on without you.
Yeah, just go on without me. I'll curl up under the desk and just yell random sumo comments, and hopefully the mic picks it up.
Terunofuji.
Avi.
We should just like say stats wrong just to like keep
Oh.
it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
Hey, that's what we should do for our podcast punishment.
Yes.
If Ryan loses, just everyone says stats wrong the whole episode.
That would work. That would work very well. But before we go any further, I am a man of great ego, and I like to celebrate myself when I do things correctly. But conversely, I also recognize when I have made great wrongs, when I have wronged somebody that is so dear and beloved to myself. So I would fall on my knees right now if whatever I said afterwards wasn't caught up by this mic that's sitting on the table, and I clearly can't move it.
Just carry the mic with you.
Yeah, just
It's
take it
okay.
with you.
Actually, it's no different. Same height. Let it be known, I am on my knees and I am begging for Rod Lunsford's forgiveness,
Ooh.
as I called him Rob on the Hatsu preview episode.
Yes.
He is one of our very fine patrons. He sent us in a few questions that we answered on their last episode, and I just slapped him in the face every single time I referred to him as Rob. So Rod, I very much apologize. I shouldn't get it wrong. Rod is the name of my father. It should be very easy for me.
That's what's so bad. It's like, Ryan, you know how to say his name.
Shame.
Why are you doing this?
It should be so easy for me to memorize. So Rod, I hope someday you can forgive me. I hope you can still be the biggest Ryan stan that there are among GSB fans. And whatever you need from me to make it up to you, I will make sure that it is done. So now that I have spent 2 more minutes, just all right, off my knees.
Interesting. So yeah, so like your #1 fan and you instantly disrespect him.
Slap him in the face.
Okay. That sounds like an interesting thing to be a Ryan fan. What happens?
You
to
know,
them?
when you're the Dai Yokozuna of 2021, you got to put people in their place and know that they're below you.
Hear that, Rod?
And just like that, we are back to old Ryan. All right,
Oh,
people.
Lord.
Let's
Okay,
go.
so real quick, let's cover the rest of our patrons here. For our Midway here. You guys are the power water served to us in a itty bitty adorable ladle that gives us the spirit to gambarize every day. That's Cole Brumley, Rhiannon McLean, Jorge Lamarca, Trent, Caroline, Octavian, Giuseppe, Rob with a B, Graham, and Rob with a B, Shields. King of Salts, Glenn Otto, Alex Hearn, Anna Tsukahara, and I guess John Gunning is okay too.
Yeah.
We do have one new patron since last time. That would be William. Being sponsored by William is like being rubbed down with a tiny towel before our match.
Oh, very important.
But whose tiny towel? He's doing the rubbing.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, Tochinoshin's.
When we were
That-
talking
the
about this before
aggressiveness,
recording,
it's clean.
apparently Tochinoshin is known for aggressive toweling, and this is a joke that I have been out of the loop on.
Oh,
William also asked about how much does a patron have to pledge in order to get an elder stock in JSA West.
Ooh.
And as of now, I think we were kind of on the page that there's only 4 Kabu. So,
Yes.
so maybe as long as one of us is an active wrestler, we can like loan our Kabu or something to. I don't know how that system works.
Well, I think as soon as one of us retires, and we all know that that's
Yeah.
going to be Fleric that leaves us first, then we will figure out how we're going to award the Kabu of Fleric to somebody. But
Because we all know I am the Daiyokuzuna, so I have a named Kabu.
I mean, the 4 Kabu are Jake, Ryan, Mac, and Fleric. So
Oh yeah, of the 4 historical and very influential podcast hosts.
That
Yes,
means
exactly.
that
JSA
whoever
West.
when Fleric was that a joke that he's like older than us or something, or just
yeah, he's
That he'll be
got
the
one
fir-
foot in the
yes.
grave. He's 33
Yeah, you're
years
right.
old.
Indeed.
yeah. So when Fleric passes away, of course, at the ripe old age of 35 or whatever,
they'll be knocking on the
whoever
33-year-olds.
whoever
man.
replaces him has to take on the Shikona of Fleric when they assume that elder stock, right?
Yes, exactly.
As is tradition.
Oh, well. As is tradition. But no, thank you, William. That was a fun.
So I
question.
think, yeah, I think what you have to do is actually kill one of us.
Ooh.
Then you might have a good chance.
or have a mandatory retirement age.
Yes.
All right, let's start talking about what's actually happening in this Basho, shall we?
Please don't kill me.
We've messed up. He's the oldest, therefore the weakest. Go after him. Despite
He's
my current
vulnerable to
sickness, I am
predators.
was
the
about to
youngest.
say, wait a minute here.
Despite my current sickness, I am the youngest and therefore most spry. Don't chase me and kill me. All right. Yeah,
Let's get back
sumo.
to
That's
sumo.
what we do. Yeah.
That's
so
it. That's what it was. Yeah.
the Yusho race, halfway through this Hatsu Basho, we have one sole leader at 8-0. That is, of course, our Yokozuna Terunofuji. Hold up. Mitakeumi. 8-0?
Did you write that wrong? That's not right.
I mean, I've watched all the matches. I don't remember him losing, so I guess it is feasible. But Mitakeumi in the middle of an Ozeki run actually showing up 8-0. This is the second time that Mitakeumi has started a Basho in the Makuuchi division, 8-0. And the previous time it happened, he ended up winning the Yusho with a 13-2 record in that previous instance. So, guys, do we take Mitakeumi seriously this Basho? I know we don't take him seriously every Basho, but with an 8-0 start, are we taking Mitakeumi seriously as a Yusho contender this tournament?
Why are we talking about him like he doesn't have like tied for the second most tournament wins out of all active wrestlers here?
Because we've also watched every other tournament that Mitakeumi has been in besides those 2 Yusho winning ones, and he's
Every single one that he didn't win, he lost. What a scrub.
Exactly.
God.
No, we're used to Mitakeumi having a slide in week 2,
Yes.
despite some good starts, and so we're just wondering, when is it going to happen this time? Is it going to happen this time? Jake, it seems like you're pretty firmly on, obviously, Mitakeumi Yusho, Zensho Yusho. That seems like
Oh, jeez.
that seems like where you're headed.
I was getting
I
that
know him
vibe
better
too.
than that. I am a believer, but I'm definitely not a 15-0 level believer.
All right, so Jake definitely believes that in Mitakeumi this Basho. Mac and Fleric, what are you guys thinking? Are you thinking this time he will be a serious Yusho contender, or are we just going to see him fade away in the second week?
I'll say he's a contender. He's in good form right now. Like he's looking really good. So I don't see any reason why he won't stay in the Yusho race all the way to the end. We'll see about Terunofuji. He's a very, very big mountain to climb over. Very big, but he's also big himself. So I have high hopes.
Now we'll see. I want to be a believer, but we've seen week 2 Mitakeumi show up way too many times. So I want to believe.
Yeah. And so we always talk about week 2 Mitakeumi. And so I kind of wanted to define what it is when we say
Yeah,
week
what we
2 Mitakeumi. And so I basically I looked at every Basho he has had just in the Sanyaku ranks, because that's where the most pressure is going to be on you. And so he's had 26 total Basho in the Sanyaku ranks. His average win total in week 1 is 5.04 wins through week 1. And that's a 63% win rate for week 1. His average week 2 wins is 3.73 wins. Now, I consider week 1 the first 8 days, and week 2 the second
The last
7
7
days.
Sure.
So there is one more match in that first week to kind of bolster the stats, but it is a drop of 10% win rate in week 2 to a 53.3% win rate. So there is a definite decline in Mitakeumi's win rate in the second week.
I would point out the next level analysis of this might be to break it up between Komusubi and Sekiwake, because the Komusubis have their hard matches right away. Like the Yokozuna will face the Komusubis early. Sekiwake would face Yokozuna and Ozeki later in the tournament. I don't know. It's not exactly the same every single time. But I know that seems to be a bit of a factor. Like I was looking at Sumo DB just now, and this is his 4th tournament in a row at Sekiwake, where most of his losses are in the second week.
Yes.
But then the 3 tournaments before that, he was a Komusubi, and a bunch of his losses were in the first week. So I don't know. I think it kind of depends a little bit on which rank he's at. For what it's worth, both his tournament wins, both his Yusho, were as a Sekiwake, where his hard matches would be later.
Yes. And so as a Komusubi, he has been that rank 10 times in his career. He has gotten a couple of like 5 and 2s, a couple of 6 and 1s in there, and then a handful of 4 and 3, 3s and 4s. Throughout Mitakeumi's entire Sanyaku career, he has a total of 3 6 and 1 records and 3 5 and 2 records. So out of those 6, 4 of those were while he was a Komusubi. So he only has like 1 5 and 2 as a Sekiwake, 1 6 and 1 in the second week as a Sekiwake, where he currently is. He has out of 26 Basho as a Sanyaku Rikishi, 11 of those he finished the second week 4 and 3. So that is by far the most popular or most often occurring set is a 4 and 3 record in the second week. Where if he got a 4 and 3 record in the second week here, that still leaves him with a 12 and 3 record, which
respectable
could be competing for the Yusho depending on how the others do around
one
him.
One of his wins is a 12 and 3.
Yeah, exactly. And 12 and 3 this time could be enough to see him promoted to Ozeki. We'll kind of talk about the Ozeki in a little bit. Not inspiring anybody this tournament.
Yeah,
I would
really?
say.
You don't say.
Could be a chance that we lose an Ozeki after the next Basho. We'll see kind of how Takakeisho performs next go round, but they might want to bolster their Ozeki ranks. And Mitakeumi, who has been in the Sanyaku for so long, getting 32 over 3 Basho, I could easily see them giving him that promotion. Like I said, I think Shodai got 32 over 3 and got in. Asanoyama got 32 over 3 and got in.
I feel like there's buzz beforehand, like with Shodai, saying like we might, if he does well, he gets a Ozeki promotion. I don't. Have you heard anything a buzz about Mitakeumi?
Not really, but I don't know. We'll see. I think it's definitely in play though. A 9 and 6, 11 and 4, and then like a 12 and 3 or 13 and 2. I think that should get it for him, especially considering our current rank of or our current batch of Ozeki. I think they kind of want to bolster that up a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, my guts tell me at least it has to be the 13 and 2, at least the 33 over 3 Bashos. That's at least that's my guts kind of saying, just because there's
Double
been no
digits.
buzz about it. Like there has to be a little bit impress this Basho.
Well, a June Yusho might do it.
It's possible. But
I think it's kind of funny. I'm sorry, go on, Flair.
Now I was just gonna say I think in my head the 33 is probably a barrier, a threshold that he has to surpass.
I was looking through his records and I thought it was kind of funny. He's got those 2 Yusho. He's never won a June Yusho.
Yeah. That's something that well, yeah, it shouldn't surprise you because I pointed it out on the preview episode if you were paying attention.
I wasn't.
Nope.
Obviously.
This is a new fact
Because
to
it
me too.
surprised me when I found out when I was just looking at his page during the preview episode, and I pointed out, and we're like, "Oh, that's weird." And now apparently Jake finds out, and now it's news again.
Well, you're
Just
the
like
only one
It's
who remembers
Mitakeumi.
that,
This is second
so-
week Mitakeumi. Therefore, it's news, man. It's got to be news.
Yeah, we
Just
should have
like-
somebody look into second week Mitakeumi, see what his
Yeah, I think-
average
yeah, that'd be
record
good to go
is.
in.
You know, I'll do that. I'll take care of that. I'll do that.
thanks.
I'll fall on that grenade for everyone.
Fair enough.
Yeah, just like how
Appreciate
now
the
you
hard
start-
work.
Now that Jake has been following Team Liquid, you know, they're starting to do well and such.
It's news. It's all news
yeah, it's
again.
news. It's great news.
Wow,
Jake just
apparently
wants
just
to be
dunk on
just like
Ryan
me.
episode.
Hey, Jake just wants to be like me. So you know what? I'm flattered.
I wouldn't be.
All right, one behind Mitakeumi in the Yusho race. This is, in fact, our Yokozuna. Terunofuji slipped up on day 5 or 6 against Tamawashi. I don't remember which. But Fleric, how does Terunofuji only have one loss so far? I mean, the guy has the most amazing comeback power in a match. He should have lost to Daisho. He should have lost to Ura. Damn near should have lost to Endo. How does this man only have one loss?
But he didn't lose. That's the thing.
Well, true.
I hadn't considered that. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know. Terunofuji's kind of looked like this a lot, I feel. Maybe not so much the last Basho, but he's always had these close matches that they always go his way. So, you know, for a long time we were kind of doubting him because of these close ones, but like he's Yokozuna, he just keeps on winning them. So he just has that star sense, the Yokozuna, like the rope sense. That's how he keeps on getting these wins. That's my
yeah.
analysis right there.
No, we mentioned on the preview episode, it's kind of just hard to analyze Terunofuji at this point because what more could be said? The dude's really good and he's just doing what he's doing.
He has
He's
patience. He has a
yeah.
lot of patience with his opponents. He picks his time, gets a little lucky, definitely gets a lot of lucky in some of his bouts.
Mhm.
But if you look at Tamawashi's match again, he got off balance and he slipped. Like that's not normally how Terunofuji loses. I mean, once he stays upright, he keeps his base, and he's usually able to power through. But in this case, he just lost his footing. So I think it was a fluke.
Yeah, he definitely has the experience to kind of like know what to do in the situation, and he has the body to back it up. Those are like the two big things. Like he has the body to know to withstand any kind of like onslaught at the beginning, and then like he has just experience like in the situation, like what I have to do to get the win out. And so I think that's just given so many wins throughout the time, and it's just no one can like figure out a way to get past that, except I guess like you said, he slipped one match. So
You can call that loss a fluke, but then you also would have to call his win over Daisho a fluke because that was the same thing, but the other way around.
Oh yeah, no,
Like-
I acknowledge that.
It's really weird trying to parse how much of it is his patience and his skill in being able to like see what the other guy can do and then turning it around on them versus how much of it is just like Shodai style, oh cool, that worked kind of sumo. You know, like there's definitely some level of both, I'm sure, but it's hard to tell. I don't know. I'm not good enough at analyzing the technique or anything to know like how much of it is deliberate, but there were a few times that he totally got lucky, right? Like
yeah, no,
come on.
you can't deny. Yeah, there are
I don't-
several times that I like that. I like that comparison, the Shodai style. That that worked.
yeah, and that's why I'm looking towards instinct and experience, because like you know, it's like one of those things you can't like really think and like plan to get into the situation, but he just like by instinct he just kind of somehow just kind of gets through it. So
Reactive sumo.
yeah.
All right. So we're probably thinking that the Yusho race is going to come down to Mitakeumi or Terunofuji, but we do have a half dozen Rikishi that are just 2 wins behind Mitakeumi at this point with a 6-2 record. So let's go through these guys fairly quickly and decide whether they are an actual contender for this Yusho or are they just a pretender and we're thinking they're going to have a Mitakeumi style week 2 that takes them out of the race. All right, so we'll start with Jake and Magashira 3, the guy that knocked off Terunofuji himself, Tamawashi. Is he a Yusho contender or pretender this Basho?
I'm going against type here by praising the guy that busted Takayasu in half. I think he's for sure a contender. He already has the entire Sanyaku completed. He went 6-2, or I guess he went 5-2 against the entire Sanyaku. And his only losses were Takanosho and Mitakeumi. He's only getting easier matchups from here. And I think I don't necessarily think that he'll go 7-0 and win the Yusho or something like that, but I definitely think he'll be in the mix late because he'll have easier matchups than Mitakeumi and Terunofuji coming up.
Yeah. And I want to say this before I get really mad at Tamawashi in the second half of this podcast and say very mean things to him that are very unwarranted.
But he deserves a bit.
Have the Kotenages of death.
Have we taken Tamawashi for granted as like sumo fans? Like, this is a 37-year-old man. Like, we see other guys that are like 34, like Tochinoshi, and it's like, oh, that guy's old and he's going downhill, he's going to retire any moment. And we have all these other guys, and here's a 37-year-old, never missed a match in his life. He's won a Yusho. He's fighting amazingly well, just picked up a Kinboshi against Terunofuji. He's in contention for this Yusho race. He's not a guy that's going to be a Sanyaku mainstay or anything like that, but he has the potential to bring it, and to bring it like this at 37 years old. I'm just thinking we might have taken Tamawashi a little bit for granted and not really recognized him for probably as good of a Rikishi as he is.
I would agree with.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Jake.
He was a Sanyaku mainstay through 2017, 2018 ish.
Right. I mean, now he's not going to be
now.
A
Yeah, you're probably right. It would be a pretty hot take to say that he's going to get better than he currently is at any point, right? Like, but yeah, but before mid 2021, when he dropped all the way down to Magashira 10, the last time he was ranked that low was like 6 years ago.
Wow.
So like he's absolutely been like one of those almost Ozekis, you know, like he's kind of like in the who else recently retired that was kind of in that boat. Like Tochi Ozan was another guy that we kind of took for granted in the same way. But yeah, I would agree. I think Tamawashi is going to leave a bit of a hole when he disappears that we don't really give him credit for.
I think what kind of soured, at least my opinion of him, was the tournament, I think back in 2019, where I referenced it earlier, the Kotenages of death, where he had like 3 bouts, like 3 days in a row that ended 3 different Rikishi's tournaments, essentially due to Kyujo, because he injured their elbows. Yeah. I think that kind of soured my taste for him. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but that definitely lowered him, at least in terms of my radar.
Yeah, he was a heel for sure. He's kind of like mellowed recently in my mind just because he hasn't been as successful. But yeah, I love to hate him for a couple years for sure.
Yes.
But yeah, just wanted to point that out while he was having another great Basho. Once again, I will point out 37 years old. Like Shohozan's 37. Shohozan's 37, and we could not imagine Shohozan putting this kind of performance like this. Like Kakuryu and Hakuho couldn't even get to wrestling at age 37. So that's a feat amongst itself, and to be doing this well, I think is very impressive.
1,399 matches so far.
Holy smokes.
Never missed one.
And hopefully he doesn't miss one. He had an awkward landing against Terunofuji today. It looks like he landed like sternum first on the
landed
Tawada.
On his chest.
Hopefully just had the wind knocked out of him and not any damage that would end that streak.
I'm sure that he's been through enough injuries and just powered through them enough that I would bet that the time that he can't make it to a match, he'll just call it a career. That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
All right. I said we were going to do this quickly, and then we talked about Tamawashi for 5 minutes. So, Mac, a little bit more quickly.
But good conversation.
Yes. Onosho, contender or pretender? And before you get into Onosho, have we taken Onosho for granted?
Well, when we're used to Onosho's brand of sumo being the raging bull, charge ahead, fly across the Tawara and out of the ring, and the other wrestlers going ole, yes, I think we have taken him for a little bit granted, but he showed great patience against Abi. He was able to deflect the double arm attack that is Abi's brand of sumo. He had a great match against Chiyonokuni today. I think definite contender. I think he's starting to come into his own. I think he can at least play spoiler.
Yeah, we're in the every other Basho no show trend right
Yes.
now. He had double-digit losses last time. He's going to get a winning record this time. Get back into Magashira 1, 2, 3. Hell, depending on how the Komosubi and Sekiwake ranks do, might vault himself up there. Looking at the Bansuke, I don't think there's too many people doing that great in front of him. Yeah, just Tamawashi. So, yeah, we'll see. But next Basho, it's going to be more double-digit losses for 100.
Oh yeah, no, he'll follow suit. He'll follow suit.
All right, Fleric, Abi, is he a contender or a pretender? I know on the preview episode we didn't have an update on if Abi was still living with the boys. I did some digging. I did some research. I had to figure out the important information, and we can confirm Abi is indeed still living with the boys.
That explains his performance right there.
Exactly. Do you think he's a contender or a pretender this time? He has dropped his last 2 matches to Onosho and Hoshoryu.
All right. So you say he's living with the boys, right?
He is.
All right. That's the most important variable right there. I don't know. Like, I'm going to say pretender simply because the same logic that Jake used of where Tamawashi had all the Sanyaku, like he already got all that out of the way, and like he just has like some easy Rikishi to do. Abi, if he with that 6-2, like he's probably gonna get some hard matches in front of him with the Sanyaku if he starts actually contending for the Yusho. And like I think he can probably win a couple of those, but he just has to win a lot. And dropping a couple to I guess Onosho and Hoshoryu, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, and I think it is important to note that he wants to be satisfied with the sumo in order to move out of the Heya and with his wife and child. And so if you drop a couple of losses on days 7 and 8 to Onosho and Hoshoryu, how can you be satisfied with?
I'm sorry,
sumo,
honey,
really?
I can't come home yet.
Yeah. No, I did find. Apparently, they're looking for a house, and they're just trying to find the exact perfect house. But he's not going to do any looking until the Basho is over. So, we'll get you another update on Abi living with the boys on our Haru preview and see if he has found a house suitable for his wife and daughter. Terunofuji is also 6-2 this Basho. He is 34 years old, so not as impressive as Tamawashi, but still fairly impressive. Scrolling through his page real quick, I don't think Terunofuji has ever lost a match either, or ever missed a match.
Lost a match?
Ever lost?
Ever missed a match? I will say.
You're correct. He's at 1,061 matches, so he's quite a ways behind.
Yeah,
but yeah, he has never missed one.
And I'm gonna say contender for one reason. Ooh. It is the Hatsu Basho. Crazy things happen. We are on a streak of 6 straight tournaments where somebody wins their first Yusho, and we've kind of seen a trend where it seems like older guys are winning their first Yusho here. You had Tochinoshin was past 30 years old, won his first Yusho. Tamawashi past 30 years old, won his first Yusho. Tokushoryu was past 30 years old, won his first Yusho. Who fits that mold better than Terunofuji this tournament? So for that reason alone, Terunofuji is a contender for the Yusho.
I'm going to add on to that and say he's in the sweet spot. So Terunofuji normally performs well between M5 and M7. Anything higher, his performance is a little shoddy. Anything lower, he can usually blow him out of the water. M5 to M7, I think this is his perfect rank. So if he's going to bust it out, this is the time.
All right, Jake, Kotonowaka, also 6-2. Contender or pretender?
I think pretender. He's shown he's been good in a handful of matches, but like I don't see anything that makes me think he's doing better than he has in the past. Or I think that he is one of the guys where it's just when you have that many guys in the lower Magashira that are all going up against each other, enough coin flips work out that at least a couple guys do better than you know what I mean though, right? Yeah. There's even if every single match was 50-50, some people would jump out to an early good record. And I mean, I'm not saying that Kotonowaka is some scrub or anything like that, but I just don't see it.
All right, and Mac, our last 6-2 Rikishi is Koto Eiko.
Pretender. I'm not going to elaborate because I like Koto Eiko and I don't want to, rag on the guy. So Pretender.
I think that's plenty. All right, we'll move on. We'll talk about the rest of our Sanyaku Rikishi. Not too long because there's really no reason to dwell on any of these guys based on their first week performance so far. But Takakeisho, he did pull out of the Basho on day 4 after a 1-2 start. It is due to some damage to the ligament in his right ankle. And this does stick to the trend of participating fully in 2 Basho and then pulling out due to injury in the next one. So this is his 4th Kyujo in the last 10 Basho. So just kind of same old for Takakeisho, unfortunately. Just more disappointment, a time where he could another amazing performance could have possibly put him in some Yokozuna conversation, and he just has a poor start and pulls out of the tournament. So very disappointing from Takakeisho. Do you guys have anything more to elaborate on that? It kind of is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
He looked great at the beginning. He had.
Oh, he destroyed Wakataka Kage day 1.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's a bummer because if he had looked kind of cruddy the whole time, it'd be like, he's still recovering from something. But the fact that he looked so great, especially on that day 1 match, then it's a new thing, and that's a bummer that there's yet another thing on the pile for him to deal with. Is kind of my take.
Yeah, if it's not the neck, it's the pectoral. If it's not the pectoral, it's this ankle. It's always something new with Takakeisho. And for a guy that's only 25 years old to have this many different injuries, it doesn't seem like a substantially Tamawashi like career is is in the books for him.
I will give a little counterpoint to that because I think there's a lot of Rikishi out there who probably play through injuries and such. And I think Takakeisho is one who definitely takes his injury seriously. Of where he gets injured, he actually drops out. So I will say he's getting injured, but he might be just taking his injuries really seriously and not trying to play through.
And as an Ozeki, he kind of has a 1 Basho luxury of being able to do that. Get injured, okay, pull out, get right, come back the next one, get my 8 wins, maintain my rank. Whereas if you're like Magashira 15, I hurt myself on day 2. If I pull out here, I'm going to be dropping down to Juryo. It's not that bad. I think I can fight through it, try to get my Kachikoshi, or at least not a bad enough Makikoshi that I get demoted. So yeah, I think his rank definitely allows him to be a little bit safer with those injuries.
That's why he wants to get to Yokozuna so bad, so he can get to every other Basho right away.
And then we have Shodai.
And then Shodai.
He's not doing great. I mean, his record says he's 4-4, but we all know in our hearts he's 3-5. Wakataka Kage with a big boneheaded mistake just was pushing Shodai out. Shodai was going out. There wasn't any fight from Shodai. Wakataka Kage just was I don't know how you even do it, but he just stepped out before Shodai did.
That's that veteran crafty mindset by Shodai. Just let him
come on.
If I let him beat me hard enough, his momentum will carry him out of the ring.
He'll make a mistake.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the veteran mindset and kind of sumo that has gotten Shodai 4 straight 9-6, 8-7 records as an Ozeki. So
is it? I feel like he was winning matches handedly when he got that.
I mean, Flick, you can't even say that with a straight face, and you know it.
He's probably going to end up 8-7, 9-6 again, and
the Goedo special.
Yeah.
Well, the Goedo special was coming back from Kadoban. Shodai's been avoiding that at least so far. But yeah, once again, not a whole lot to say about Shodai. He in his losses, it's not like he's been particularly inspiring and just barely got him. It's like, oh no, you beat Shodai pretty easily. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's still got 2 Sekiwake and a Yokozuna to face.
That'll help him.
I don't know. 8-7, even that seems a little optimistic to me.
Yeah, I'd believe it. All right, why don't we all Shodai currently 4-4. Let's all go around the horn and say if we think he'll be Kachikoshi, Makekoshi. So Jake, you are on the Makekoshi bandwagon. Mac, Kachikoshi, Makekoshi.
Makuuchi.
Fleric.
Kachikoshi. You'll get some nice matchups.
I'm also going to go with the Kachikoshi. He'll probably do the thing where he's out of the Yusho race, so he'll avoid Terunofuji having to fight him.
Come on.
I could see them doing some scheduling stuff.
Yeah, fair.
Where I don't know if they would, but if it stays like it's Mitakeumi and Terunofuji are like the two top guys, I wonder if they would, instead of having Mitakeumi face Terunofuji before Shodai, I wonder if you just kind of, all right, forget Shodai. He's not
He's
taking
out.
part in this, and then we'll move Mitakeumi and Terunofuji to the final day. So,
I would love. I'm very interested to see, because I think it will tell us a little bit about like just like how we analyze Bansuke's to see what the rules are that are behind the scenes. I'm curious to see how bad can Shodai do and still have the one final match of the tournament, because there's only one Yokozuna and one Ozeki participating.
Wouldn't that be anticlimactic if like Terunofuji, all he need is a win and Shodai is in front of him on day 15?
Yep.
God, we're so mean to him. He is an Ozeki, but God,
He
It's
earned
Shodai.
it, but
It's
now
okay.
he's
It's Shodai.
definitely feels like he's been coasting. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The rest of our Sekiwake and Komusubi we haven't talked about. They're all kind of hovering around the Kachikoshi Makuuchi line. So let's do kind of the same thing that we just did. Fleric Takanosho is 4-4. Kachikoshi or Makuuchi for Takanosho?
My gut tells me Makikoshi. He hasn't been looking all too impressive this Basho. Yeah, he's been missing a step.
All right. Jake, what about Meisei? Currently 3-5. Do you think he rallies in week 2, gets a Kachikoshi, or do you think he kind of stays the track and gets a Makuuchi?
I could see him getting a Kachikoshi. He has already faced both Sekiwake. He already faced Takakeisho. He does still have Shodai and potentially Terunofuji still to go. But yeah, I mean, as a Komusubi, he had a front-loaded schedule, so I'd be optimistic for him.
All right, and Mac, similarly, Daisho is also 3-5 as a Komusubi. Do you think he will be Kachikoshi or Makuuchi?
Koshi.
I like Daisho's brand of sumo. I like what he can do in the ring. So I think he'll rally and get Kachikoshi.
All right. So according to us, well, depending on what Mitakeumi does, could be 2 new open Sanyaku ranks. Hell, if they all crap the bed, we could have 4 new Sanyaku Rikshi in the next tournament. You know what? I'm going to cheer for that. 4 new Sanyaku
Meisei
Rikshi.
or Mitakeumi moves up, the other 3 move down.
Yep, exactly. Let's cheer for that. Let's cheer for chaos. That's
Chaos,
always fun.
yep.
Chaos.
I'm always on board for that.
Yep. Let's talk a little bit about Ura, the most popular Rikshi, according to our popularity poll. He ended week 1 with a 4-4 record, and that's actually pretty good for a Magashira too. He only has 1 more match against Sanyaku Rikshi. He gave Terunofuji one hell of a fight and damn near knocked off the Yokozuna a day before Tamawashi did. But Mac, should he have been held out of the Basho, or at least a few days after his fall on day 2, where we saw him kind of like stumble into the back? It definitely looked like he took a good shot to the back of the head, and he was not all right afterwards. What are your thoughts on that?
For Rikshi health and safety, I definitely would have wanted him to at least take a couple days just to reevaluate his head, maybe get checked out a little bit more and just get some time to heal. But he appears to be fine. So, I mean, you can definitely tell he is digging hard. He's fighting hard. You can tell he's definitely passionate about really giving his all in the ring. So I think he's okay. But longevity wise, like, I would have liked him to take a couple days off just because I like seeing him. I like his performances in the ring. I mean, he did great in his match today. I loved watching his sumo today.
Yeah, like we want Ura to be around for, another decade, not for like another couple years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like,
I would be
yeah, I agree.
39 years old for Ura.
Oh, is
He's
he
29.
really? I guess he's older than
Yeah.
I thought he was. I thought he was probably like 26 or 7 or
Yeah, I
something.
thought he
like
was
Oh.
a younger gun than that.
Spent many years down in Makushita Sadame, healing
Really?
up.
Oof.
Well, regardless, I guess, we want to see him around more. And I mean, we're not doctors, so we can't say for sure like how bad a concussion he got. And every brain injury is different. I can't say from my couch that it was severe enough to hold him out, but it
It looked
did look
pretty
pretty
bad.
bad.
Pretty bad.
It looked rough. He needed support. He did need the comically large wheelchair to get down the rest of the hallway. So yeah, I mean, God, and we just come right back to that argument that it sucks so much that injury recovery time is treated exactly the same as losses. Because every single bit of the sumo system is set up to encourage him not to take that time off.
I'm gonna go definitely say he should have been held back by the Sumo Association, and they should use the precedent for COVID so he doesn't drop in rank when he does it. It's just, especially in these clearly he got concussed situations.
Totally.
They're just pretending like I definitely applaud like Rikshi take time off, but I can also kind of see like Ura where he's thinking of where I spent two big times I took time off to heal up my knee because he like was ACL, MLCL.
Yeah, I think
whatever.
it was one then the other. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's like putting his time trying to heal up, and like he's 29, and he's like, I need to get some. Like I
Now or
finally worked my
never.
way back up to the joy, and like it's only a concussion, so I can kind of
Ugh.
see his like mindset of why he's sticking around. But I think that decision should be taken out of his hands. And we have precedent with COVID now to take time off and not drop down to Bansuke.
Yeah.
It's not much harder to do it again. So
I mean, they
Oh.
used to have I think it was like Kosho Seido system where you could sit out a tournament due to injury. You got one, and then you would come back, and then your rank was frozen in spot. But they got rid of that system. I think they thought too many people were gaming the system or something like that. But yeah, I think something similar to that, which was around in like the 2000s. So it's not like it's an ancient system.
Mhm.
I think something like that, I think would be amazing if that made a comeback.
Yeah,
And
they
like
need
I
something.
said, it's the system that's encouraging this, like the systemic pressures that are put on them to wrestle every single time. And I know one of the other times that we talked about that old system, one of the arguments against it is you want to see your favorite wrestlers wrestle every time, right?
Oh yeah.
Sure, but if again,
I would rather they be healthy.
I'd rather they be healthy so they can have longer careers. I want to see them for more years, not more,
Mhm.
individual matches per day, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
It
Even
just
watching
sucks.
the Riz matches, like I have like a bad like taste in my mouth.
Yeah, there's a sense of foreboding where it's like, come on, it's like just watch it, just be careful.
All right. Let's move on and just if there's anybody else you want to highlight that we haven't talked about already before we kind of move on to some other stuff. For me, definitely want to highlight Hoshoryu. Another, I think he was number 4 in our popularity poll. So another very popular Rikishi. We all love him. 5-3 so far. I think his sumo is looking a lot better than it was the past 2 Basho, where he had gotten a couple losing records in a row. I think he's kind of got some things shored up a little bit there. Picking up that win against Abi today was a very positive sign for me. Kind of had Hoshoryu in the bucket. It was like, oh, that should be an easy win for Abi. But to see Hoshoryu handle Abi very easily was a very positive sign for me. So very happy with Hoshoryu through the first week. Mac, is there anybody you want to highlight?
Nope. Just that Chiyo no Kuni's doing okay. Or not Chiyo no Kuni, Chiyomaru. The other Chiyo. Too many Chiyos here. Chiyomaru, you doing okay. Keep it up, baby.
His matches, he might be like pound for pound most entertaining matches so far this tournament.
The
Him and
sloppy-
Terunofuji.
the
Yes.
sloppy crap against Aqua on day 8,
Yes.
amazing.
And he's had a couple of matches just like that. So yeah, pay attention to Chiyomaru. He's having a sneaky fun Basho.
Yes. Pay attention to him. Give my boy some love.
Always. Yeah. For me, Chiyo no Kuni. Yes, that I am getting the correct Chiyo.
Yes.
I'm
Chiyo, and Chiyo.
I had
Actually,
to wrap
we-
my mind around it for a second, but
We
yeah.
do have enough. We do have 4 Chiyos.
See?
Hey, there you go. But no, I wanted to highlight he's probably like the best 0-8 I've ever seen. Like he's like the opposite of Terunofuji. Like he puts on a great match, does very well, and then loses. As opposed to like getting almost beat constantly and then winning,
I'm gonna make Jake mad for a moment, as I recall.
Oh, boy.
He's not the best 0-8 I've ever seen, because I remember, and I've looked it up now, so I know the exact date. But Yutakeyama back in May of 2018, he started off 0-9. And I remember it was at Magashira 3, and I remember he just had put up so much fight against everybody in the Sanyaku ranks and just lost so close. And I always felt so bad for him, that Basho. So I'm going to say that's the best 0-8 I've ever seen. But Chiro Kuni, yeah, sure, number 2.
No, now that you bring that up, I absolutely remember that one. And I think we probably even phrased it the same way, like the best 2 and 13 or whatever that we'd ever seen. But yeah, no, it's just a bummer because I like Chino Kuni. He just like one more second of dominance per match, and he would be like, 5 and 3 or something.
Yeah. Flarek, anybody else that you want to note?
I would just want to give props to this Rikishi, who is definitely taking notes from a very, very successful Ozeki of Shodai, of just messing up a bunch to put his opponent right where he wants them. Of course, I'm talking about Aqua, who has the 1 and 7. He has his opponents right where he wants them to just go 8-0 in the next hour. Was it 7-0?
He's gonna go on a run.
He's gonna somehow get another match in there. Yeah, there's gonna be a redo, and he's gonna Kachikoshi.
You're trying to save face because we made that bet on the preview. Me and Ryan took the easy money that Aqua would have a Makekoshi when we bet 2 prediction points on it. And for some reason, Mac and Flarek were on the Aqua train. And I just, even with like a week of hindsight, and even if you hadn't seen him wrestle, it still makes no sense to me.
We're halfway there. We're living on a prayer.
Oh, but
this is spectacularly blowing up in our face.
Yes.
So yes, obviously there's the Schadenfreude from watching my friends make a wrong pick that I benefit from, but also every single Aqua match is hilarious in some way or another.
You get enjoyment out of it regardless.
Oh my god!
With the caveat that he's okay in the end.
Yes.
So it's like, wait a second, wait. Oh, he's getting up. Yes. Okay, now I can acknowledge how absolutely friggin' hilarious that was.
When a man that large can do a full frontal somersault multiple times out of the ring and then get up and go, I'm okay. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah. So I had it written down in the lightning round. What was your favorite funny Aqua moment? But should we go over a couple of them now, or should we talk about it later?
I might as well go over it now.
So day one. So like coming into the tournament, he already had this reputation for falling off, making a dummy of himself. Day one, huge yard sale bump right off the doyo. Let's see. Day 2, he did a pile driver to Terunofuji. Let's see. Day 3, he tries like an Ipponzeo throw and lands on his face because he couldn't do the move. And somebody on Instagram, shoot, I can't remember who it was. Our Mac, who is the guy we met from Georgia, Clements.
Yes, Clement.
Yeah, he pointed out Aqua keeps going for these throws before he has a grip on the belt, and that's part of why he always ends up slipping off and landing on his face when he does these throws. Just today, he did it himself again, trying to go for a throw and landing straight on his face at the edge. He might be my new favorite
miraculously
wrestler.
Gets up every time and is like, I'm okay.
He might be my new favorite wrestler.
Watch out, Takayasu.
Did you guys did you guys have any other Aqua moments to bring up?
No, I think you covered him very well.
I have a good catalog going of Aqua moments. I think I need to study some tape to see if I can find more.
There you go. All right. We had some predictions from what is this? I didn't add this note in here.
Who added this?
Yeah, from Nishonoseki.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Okay.
Kintamiyama included it in his video for I think day 2 maybe or something like that. They were showing other like retired wrestlers and who they were picking to have a good year. So Nishonoseki, who is the former Kisano Sato, I missed that when he changed his name. That must have been recent, right?
It happened between last Basho and this Basho.
Okay, because he was a Raiso.
He was a Raiso Oyakata.
Yep. Now Nishonoseki.
Now he's Nishonoseki. But he picked Meisei and Wakataka Kage to have a good year. And then former Kodo Shogaku, going by Hida no Yama now, he picked Hoshoryu and Hokuto Fuji to have a good year. So I just thought that was interesting. I appreciate that Kintamiyama includes little notes, little fun bits from the broadcast in addition to the matches like that.
It is fun. It's interesting that he Kisine no Sato or Nisho no Seki Oyakata. He picked some small people like Meisei and Wakatake Kage, little firecrackers.
Yeah.
Well, and Hide Noyama picked Hoshoryu. He's not a big one either. Hokuto Fuji's a big boy.
Yeah.
But
How tall is
Hoshoryu,
Hoshoryu?
I think he's plenty tall. I think he's
6'1".
Yeah,
he's
he just
doing good.
doesn't have a ton of meat
A
on
large
him yet.
frame.
Yeah, he's
But
working
yeah,
on
if it's the year of the cruiserweights, that would be my jam. I'd be all about that.
All right, real quick, let's just talk about Juryo highlights. Basically, what you need to know, Koto Shoho is in prime position to make it back up into the top division after being down at Juryo for like 4 or 5 basho. He is tied for the Juryo Yusho lead with Yago, another former Makuuchi Rikishi. They're both 7-1. But guy that I had never heard of until this basho. I've started watching all the Juryo matches recently, but Kita Nowaka, he's in Hakakubeya with Okinoumi and Hokuto Fuji. He's 21 years old. This is only like his 17th or 18th basho, 17th, and this is his Juryo debut. He's 6-2, and to me, he just looks like he has some sort of it factor to him. He seems like the real deal. He's a tall guy. He's got a good belt game. It seems like he's got a confidence and swagger that's always going to endear me to a Rikishi. And so when he has a nice dominant win, he'll kind of let you know in the most like subtle way that a Rikishi really can.
Right.
But I am
so
now
wink
just
to the camera.
Yeah. Literally like, hey.
Finger guns.
I am now in a way that I've never really been all aboard Juryo Rikishi before, that I'd never seen. Like, this is the first time I've ever seen this guy. I am all aboard the Kita Nowaka train. I reserve the right to hop off of that as soon as he face plants if he gets to the top division. But as of now,
Yeah.
I am all aboard the Kita Nowaka hype train. So I think that's somebody to keep an eye out on. And if you pay attention to other sumo sources, you already knew about him. Apparently, he was like a high school Yokozuna, so he had a good pedigree coming into it.
Some Hinamaru sumo.
I was gonna say,
yeah, I like it.
Something like that.
Yeah. So if you are a sumo podcaster that has more, mental space for more than 42 wrestlers, you've probably heard of him. But
Yeah.
That is not us.
that is not us.
Yep.
Oh man, it would be like a full-time job if we tried to cover Juryo beyond basic storylines or God forbid Makuuchi as well.
Yeah.
Oh God.
There's just so much going on at once. Like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And we'll also point out down in Juryo 10, Enho 4-4, trying to make his way back up to the Makuuchi division. And before we go on a quick break, we have news on the Hide no Umi and Shiden front. They have both admitted to the gambling that was the reason they were both held out of this tournament. The investigation committee has given its punishment recommendation to the JSA board, and deliberations will occur on January 27th. So I'm just wanting to see, what do you guys think their punishment will be?
I hope it's not retirement.
I think it's retirement.
But I think that's very much on the table.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when this last happened. That was kind of around match fixing, like a little bit before. Was that the
2000
Yeah,
gambling
but this
kind of
isn't
stuff?
was-
match fixing.
There was
Yeah.
gambling. I know back in like 2009, 2010, there was Ozeki
Yeah.
that bet on baseball, and he was kicked out of the sport.
But he was also an Ozeki, and
yeah,
these are
but that
two
isn't
Juryo
Ozeki.
Rikishi. So I don't know.
They've introduced the precedent, at least the recent precedent, of suspending for half a year or a full year for COVID protocols. And I know this isn't the same thing,
Yeah.
but like,
Yeah, I will say there's probably enough turnover with the board and the sumo association that they might be leaning towards just that.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that's different. That's just a JSA rule that was broken, the COVID protocol, whereas gambling is
that's true.
illegal in Japan.
Yeah.
That's a
And
good
we
point.
did see Takaganja, who
Best
was
nickname.
found to have been smoking marijuana, which is illegal in Japan, and he was kicked out of the sport. He was currently in Juryo, so I think that's probably going
Yeah.
to be the same thing. Doing illegal activity probably going to be kicked out.
That's a no-no. Can't do it.
Yeah, and that's something that like as marijuana and sports gambling are like so much less of a vice in the West.
We were just in Las Vegas, where both of those are not only legal but highly encouraged.
Everywhere.
Super encouraged. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's weird. So, but like to us, like it just doesn't seem like that big a deal. So we hope they stick around. But yeah, I feel like retirement's absolutely on the table.
Yep. All right. So let's take a quick break.
I'm sorry. Have we gone this long without commenting on Mac's mustache?
I haven't shaved in a few days.
Nice.
You gotta.
Is that just
Gotta
like how
work
your
on that.
Is that like how your 5 o'clock shadow comes in? It just like pure mustache.
mustache.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it comes in. It's just straight up. I'm actually happy because I actually can grow one now. Like it's finally filling in the middle, so I just needed to get it to fill in on the sides. Maybe when I hit 40, I'll be able to grow a full beard.
It only took you
There you
30
go.
years here.
Right.
Oh man, no, I don't mean to give you too much shit, but as somebody who definitely struggled to get there on my own,
it's been a long process.
Yep.
All right. With that being said, now we will take a quick break.
If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
So Ryuden still has the GSP belt. What's next? He went 4-0 in the first week. So yeah, nothing new to report. He's doing great and looking likely to be back in Juryo in the next tournament, probably. So I wonder if he can bring the belt with him all the way up.
Yep. So our prediction series update, very reluctantly brought to you by me. Jake did have Takakeisho as his champ, and so he switched over to Daieisho is Jake's new champ. And currently, Fleric is in the lead. He did select Mitakeumi as his champ. And
Never doubt him.
Chiyoshima as his chump, so Fleric's doing very well on both fronts. Followed right now by Mac, who has Terunofuji as his champ, and Wakamoto Haru as his chump, and then Jake. And then the reason that what the I'm not gonna say the F word. That's Fleric's job to drop those. What the hell, Tamawashi?
We're a PG-13 podcast, so we have one F-bomb
You
dropped
get one
by
F-bomb.
Fleric.
This is 80s
But yeah.
PG-13, man.
But yeah, Tamawashi, not the best chump pick for you, Ryan.
No, like he'd be doing this thing where like, all right, I'm gonna get up to the joy. I'm gonna look good in like Magashira's 6-7 range, and I'm gonna get up to the joy. Oh, I'll get double-digit losses. Oh, whatever. I'll go down. I'll be back, and then I'll get double-digit losses. Oh, whatever. And then he gets back up here, 6-2, and he gets a Kiboshi, and then we changed our scores for champs. We're like, we lowered like how many bonus points you can get for like Yusho, special prizes and stuff like that. But we figured if you're dumb enough to pick chump that does really good, you're still going to get punished even harder. So Tamawashi's win over Terunofuji was -3 points for me. I have 5 points, and the next closest person to me has 10. I've been absolutely crippled.
And if he wins the Yusho, that's another 5-point penalty for you.
Plus, probably like at least one special prize, probably
God.
2.
If he wins the Yusho, yeah, you're going to hit at least like another 5 points down for the Yusho, another 3 for each prize. Heaven forbid there was another Yokozuna for him to beat and get another Kiboshi.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So Ryan, you just made a very obvious mistake. So obviously Jake, Fleric, and Mac and I just call myself a fourth person. We've always rated Tamawashi. We always have. He's 37 Rikshi. I think maybe you might just be like underrating him, not appreciating him as a Rikshi, Ryan.
You're
Ryan
right.
I
takes him
think
for
you,
granted, yeah.
I
like
took Tamawashi
clearly.
for granted.
Yeah.
It's
think you
okay, because
dug
I'm
your
going to
own
hate
hole.
him forever now. So even with Aqua clearly going to get his Makuuchi and getting 2 bonus points, like that's
We'll
not going to
see.
catch me up to the person that is closest to me so that I can pass for third, because Jake is closest to me. And so he'll also get 2 bonus points. And,
And I have Aqua as my chump anyway, which is
So,
other than
yeah.
Mitakeumi, that is the best pick on the board, I think, so far.
yeah. So it's very obvious who the loser is going to be this tournament.
So let's talk about how we're going to punish you.
Yes.
So this is a fan's choice punishment this time. So we went to Twitter and we got some suggestions. We got a lot of good suggestions for our fans' choice. What we're going to do is we're going to put a poll up probably within the next couple of days to give me time to prep, honestly. For what the punishment will be. And so amongst the fans' choices, we ourselves have narrowed it down to a final 4. Sumo erotica was a slam dunk to be in there. We had multiple people ask for the sumo erotica. We also had a couple of people specifically asking for not sumo erotica.
How much more can we ruin?
But
So
it-
we
it
can
evened
punish
out-
those people as well.
Yes.
By having...
It evened out with the number of fans that requested sumo erotica and fans that requested specifically not sumo erotica. But then we're the tiebreaker, and obviously we would like to include sumo erotica.
Yeah, so that's at least option A.
Yes.
Yep. We had a couple of people that would like to see the sumo song parody. So that will be one of the 4 choices. Somebody had suggested that we do like sumo dad jokes, and it would be very apropos. I'm the only father on this podcast.
So legally, legally, you're the only one allowed to make dad jokes. I
Yes.
think.
How that would work is I'd probably just have to sprinkle in a bunch of dad jokes throughout the entirety of the podcast, which would really just make everybody else's lives worse. I would probably be the happiest in that situation.
I don't know, get like a list of 5 or 10 puns to bring into the recap episode, and yeah, I think
that's
how we do
really hard working in puns for a Japanese language when I have to like make puns within the English language. That's really hard. And then the final one, we weren't 100% sure what we wanted to do with that one, and then we got together and realized, okay, probably going to be Ryan that's going to be punished on this. And so we kind of looked at some of the other suggestions that we had gotten and wanted to figure out, okay, what would be worst for Ryan? And what the other 3 guys decided probably would be best is that it would be loser having to shotgun a beer of the winner's choice. And why that's particularly bad for Ryan is Ryan doesn't drink. It's not that I've never had a drop of alcohol in my life. I have had some drinks, but I don't drink to get drunk. I don't drink for, I just typically don't drink. Like if my friends are having drinks, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll have a taste of that. That's good. I don't want any more.
You're not the guy who's going to shotgun a beer unless you are obligated to because of a podcast punishment.
Yeah, I wasn't the guy that went to high school or college parties where this was.
Oh,
an
you don't
option.
have to clarify that part.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
We knew
Ryan.
that.
The one college party that I went to, I was either a freshman or a sophomore, and it got busted by cops.
Oh, damn.
I went there
Because Ryan narked.
Because Ryan. Come on.
I know that is fairly on brand for me, but no, I did not.
Officer, there's alcohol at this party.
here, sir. I don't know why I was invited to this party.
Because a girl I liked was going, whatever. So
She
yeah,
narked. Get me out of here.
Hey, baby, want to go out with me?
Oh Jesus,
I'm a
I'm stuck
narc.
here with this guy. I better just call the cops or something. Oh Lord. So
Now,
yes, option 4 will be
Mhm.
loser. Presumably Ryan would have to shotgun a beer of the
winner's choice, which the winner right now is looking like it could be Fleric, who's probably the most knowledgeable of beers on this podcast. So I'm sure Fleric would set me up with the finest of beers for me to shotgun. Hopefully something nice and light, like a good old Busch Light, the favorite beer of Fleric.
Iowa.
I know of some great vinegary sours that would just
Oh,
go
God.
great.
Yeah, vinegar and beer are 2 words I don't want anywhere near each other.
I'm not a huge fan of that type of sour either, but
You know what?
I just want to open up Ryan's just like taste to broaden his taste, And what better
Well-
way is to try it all at once?
We'll see how this ends up. I don't think that one would be voted on. I think Sumo Erotica is going to be a slam dunk win.
But we'll keep it in mind.
But we'll keep it in play.
I'd be willing. Let's just do it. Let's just throw it in there for freebies.
I mean,
What?
I'm not going to argue if you really want to if you really want to go for 2, sure.
Might
go
as
for it.
well.
Mm.
All right.
Unless that one wins, then you got to shotgun 2 beers. Okay. Anyways,
Okay.
moving on.
we are. Yeah, we can make this event because I think we're gonna be hanging out a little bit right before. We can make that happen the day before we record.
Yeah, and splice it into the episode. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Why? All right. All right. We're going to do the lightning round. And last time we did this lightning round, we did it really lightning. And I'm starting to fade. So let's try to keep it very lightning again. So let me get in the right mindset for this. All right, Jake, who impressed you the most?
Aqua, because he did exactly what I expected.
Mac, Mitakeumi, Fleric.
Has Aqua? Have we kind of like taken Aqua for granted? Do you think?
God damn it.
Yes or no, because he doesn't deserve to be taken. I don't know how that works.
Lightning.
Okay. Mitakeumi, he's looking good.
I agree. Mac, who's disappointed you the most?
Chiono Kuni.
Fleric.
Aqua. I don't know. Do better.
For me, it's Kirti Mayama. Jake.
Takakeisho.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point. Favorite match of the Basho so far? Fleric.
Go
around the horn. Come back to
it's gotta be the okay.
Chiyomaru versus Aqua. It was hilarious.
Mac.
I'll show you with Chiono Kuni.
Terunofuji and Ura. Fleric.
Yeah, it was a Terunofuji Ura, despite
right.
the bad taste in my mouth.
Most exciting potential matchup. Mitakeumi Terunofuji.
Yep, I can agree.
Yep.
Same.
All right. Who's going to win it, Jake?
Probably Terunofuji still somehow.
Mac.
Yep, that maybe Terunofuji.
Fleric.
Terunofuji.
Ryan, definitively Terunofuji. All right. Here's how this
that was painful. That's
okay.
painful.
I need a tiny towel to dry myself off.
Can we relax
Lightning
now?
round.
Are we done?
William, where
Is
are you?
lightning done?
Everyone
Yes,
unclench.
Lightning is done. Unclench the buttocks and listen to Ryan give some more stats. All right.
Oh, good.
We had a question from one of our patrons, and it is a patron that has signed up at the level so that we are bloodbound to answer their question.
Yeah, right on.
By Max Blood.
Max
Yes.
blood only. Yes.
Yes, that's okay. I'm a very giving person.
He's the
Please
tallest. He's
enjoy.
got the most blood. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So our buddy Josh asked us, what is the success rate of Makuuchi newbies since we started watching around Aki 2016? And he considered a successful Basho.
Oh my.
A successful Basho being just a winning record in your Makuuchi debut. And his assumption was that the success rate was around 40%. And that seemed wrong to me. And so, of course, if you present me with a statistic that I believe is wrong, I'm going to dive into that immediately.
We need to sprinkle this into, if Ryan does lose, we need to sprinkle the mislabeled stats into the final episode.
Let's just do
With a recap.
all the punishments, Ryan. Let's just accept it right now.
Hey,
Would be the best.
you know what? I haven't lost in like a year and a half. So dunk on Ryan. I'm ready for it. It's long past due. I deserve it for calling Rod Rob.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I really, really want you to do like an entire 9-minute rendition of like Paradise by the Yusho Light or something like that.
Ooh.
It would be hard, but I would love that song.
I would help you with that, Ryan, since you and I are also Meatloaf fans.
Yes. All right. So since Aki of 2016, 34 Rikishi have made their Makuuchi debut. 22 of those ended up having a winning record, which means 12 had a losing record. So a 65% success rate for Rikishi making their Makuuchi debut. This was brought up because I think Josh and I were talking about Oho a little bit. And Oho, to mention, he has a 5-3 record through the first week, and the other Makuuchi debut this Basho, Wakamoto Haru, has a 4-4 record. So both of those guys doing fairly decently for their first Basho in the top division. I do want to point out Oho. He'd been kind of like ho-hum to me. He's like, okay, yeah, he looks like a bottom 10 rank Magashira guy until his match against, who did he face today? Against Ichi Yamamoto today, where he just blew him up off the Tachiai and ran him right out the dojo. I'm like, okay, that looked really good. Let's see a lot more of that. But
Good so far.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
just to dive a little bit deeper into those stats, because that wasn't enough stats for me. Of those that had a winning record, 10 ended up with double-digit wins. So I'm going to call that a 30% great success rate. And
Great success.
Great success.
that's exactly what I was thinking of. And we had always talked like, okay, if you get like 10 wins in your Makuuchi debut, you get the Kanto Show Fighting Spirit prize. I wanted to confirm that was correct. And yes, each of those Rikishi that got 10 wins in their Makuuchi debut, each of them got the Kanto Show Fighting Spirit prize. And some other fun facts that I found while diving into this was of the 34 debuts that we had, only one Rikishi spent just one Basho in the Makuuchi division for the rest of their career or their career up to this point. And that was Amikaze, who debuted in that first Basho I was looking at, Aki 2016. So you're going to at least fight two Basho in the top division, it seems like. Very rare for Rikishi to debut in Makuuchi and then not make it back. I think Amikaze, he's still fighting, but he's down in like Makushita or Sandanme right now.
Amikaze. I'm thinking, I remember Ama used to be Harunofuji's name, and it used to be like the kanjis for cheap horse or something. So like cheap horse wind.
I thought it was just horse. I thought Ama was just horse.
It might be.
Wind, even just those two words already kind of sounds unpleasant.
Yeah, that's
And then the other interesting the other interesting thing that I found is that every Rikishi that debuted over the past 2 years in 2020 and 2021 had a winning record. So that is 8 straight Rikishi that debuted and had a Kachi Koshi or better. So I thought that was pretty interesting, because if you go back the rest of the years, that obviously isn't a significant trend. That it's more like a 50-50 sort of thing. So that 65% success rate is greatly bolstered by the Rikishi that have made their debut within the past 2 years. But that's everything that I have for this Basho. Fleric, what has your research taught you about Ama?
it is.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. It's just some interesting translations. I haven't got anything there.
He's diving down the rabbit hole.
I'm pretty sure that's it might. I think horse is probably correct, and I remember the kanji might have like altering be cheap or something like that, because I know that's why Harunofuji changed his name to Harunofuji,
Okay.
or name that's benefiting an Ozeki. Is the idea.
Gotcha. So that is all we have for the Hatsu Midway episode. We'll be back in about a week, where it'll be the Dunk on Ryan Spectacular. Might be a little bit of sumo analysis for the rest of the Hatsu Basho.
If we have time, yeah.
If we have time.
Yeah, but I think mostly is going to be embarrassing Ryan in any way, shape, or form. So, yay.
Yay.
Cool.
Yep. So we will see you then.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.